Good day, students. We are busy with the June 2023 question paper. The company name is Paint. We are continuing on page 10, the credit invoices. Remember, you have to analyze your credit invoices and determine which invoice is going to be stock and which invoices are going to be non-stock. So I'm going to start on page 10 with the first invoice. It's universal storage, and when I look at the items on the document, it's going to be non-stock. So I'm going to use my supplier's journal. So I'm going to open my supplier's journal and then do my settings. No contra account. This year transactions must be there, repeat descriptions off, tax processing must be on and inclusive, and increment reference should be no. So no contra account, this year transactions, tax on, inclusive, and increment reference no. Close. We must process the transactions in period 1. So make sure that you select period 1, press enter, and the date of the first document is the 1st of March. The name of the supplier is Universal Storage Systems. The reference is going to be USS 11. Description for steel racks. Steel rack is going to last a long time, so the capital goods tax must be used. And we will have an inclusive amount of 24,936. Press enter, and they gave us the clue that we have to use office equipment. I'm going to make sure that I'm on description and then OFF, and we select office equipment at cost, and then we are going to do courier fee. They say we must modify the general ledger account 3,400. Universal Storage Systems again. This time it's courier fee. Tax for courier fee is 01 and the amount 252. And our contra account must be 3,400. So I'm going to go to account number and I type in 3,400. It's courier and postage. So I'm going to modify. Courier and postage must now be courier fee from supplier. Save. And if I now go to search for 3,400, courier free from supplier, press enter and complete the line. My total is 25,188, and on the exam paper the total is also 25,188. Make sure about your tax for the specific item. Then I'm going to go to page 11. That document is for stock items, so I'm going to skip it for now. I'm going to go to page 12. That document is non-stock items, so I'm going to process it in the suppliers journal. The date is going to be the 15th. Supplier is Dingo's Labels. If I look on my list, I don't find Dingo's Labels, so I need to close here. I'm going to press F6. And I'm going to create Dingo's Labels. Code is DIN01. Dingo's Labels. Supplier category, there's nothing. Let's put in the postal address or private bag. X9014. East London 5201. Put in the physical address, 15A Ravenswood, Arthur. Nolan Valley. I'm going to put in the name of the contact person, C. Morris. Telephone number. They don't give us a telephone number. They do give us a cell phone number, 060-887-3564. Email address, dinga@dingalabels. .co.za. I'm going to click on processing and put in my tax reference, which is my VAT registration number, 3448147. I put in my credit limit, 10,000. Then I can check if there's any term that I can put in, 2.5% within 60 days. Okay, there's no term, 2.5% within 60 days. So I'm going to close and I'm going to press F6. The first open line, line 3, I'm going to put in 2.5%. And I'm going to change it to 60 days. Then make sure that you change from date of invoice and click OK. Then I can go and select that term, 2.5% for 60 days. That's all I need to do. Balances, additional options, notes, nothing. So it's just our details: postal address, physical address, contact person, cell phone number, email, and then under processing, make sure that you have your tax reference number in, your credit limit, and you can also set your terms. And you can save. If I press enter now, I will find Dingo labels on my list. The reference number is DIN02. Description: 5 boxes printable white labels. Tax on the labels will be 01, and the amount is 399.95. Contra account will probably be printing and stationery. PR is printing and stationery. And that's the document for Dingo's labels on page 12. We had to create a new supplier. Then we go to page 13. It's a heavy duty extension and Karcher pressure washer. And then they tell us ladder and pressure washer were bought to use in the paint shop as shop fittings. So we are going to treat Build It Buffalo on page 13 as a non-stock item. The date is going to be the 20th. Build It Buffalo. The reference is going to be BUI 12. First option is one heavy duty extension, 12-meter ladder. The ladder is going to last a long time, so it will be 058514. Contra account, shop fittings. So we can look for furniture and fittings. Yes, we have furniture and fittings at cost. Then we can use the same. Build It Buffalo, one Karcher, K4 pressure washer. Pressure washer is also going to last a long time, so 05. The amount is 4899. And the contract count again is going to be 6350/010. Furniture and fittings at cost. There's no other transaction. Okay, while we are on this screen, we can also at the bottom of page 13, the returns to supplier, there's one return of a non-stock item, the one steel rack. So I'm not going to do it in the supplier's journal. I'm going to do that return in the supplier's allowances journal. The period is period 1. The date is going to be the 2nd of March. The account is Universal Storage. The reference for Universal Storage is on page 10, USS 11. Description is one steel rack uneven. Tax for the steel rack was 0.5. So for one steel rack on page 10, the 6234 for one steel rack. And then the contra account for the steel racks, they said we must use office equipment, OFF, so office equipment at cost. So that's the non-stock item return. We do it in the supplier's allowance journal. There's nothing else. Let me just double check my settings quickly. Okay, make sure there's no contra account. I actually forgot to do my settings. So I'm going to delete that line so that you can also see delete. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to do my settings first. No contra account, that's correct. It's this year transaction. Remove repeat description. Tax must be on, but it must be on. Inclusive increment reference, no. So it's the first, and then the return is done on the 2nd. It's Universal Storage Systems. The original document for Universal Storage we found on page 10. USS 11 is the document number. So that will become our reference. Description is one steel rack uneven. Tax is 0.5. Okay, I don't know. If you want to, if it goes to exclusive but you want to go to inclusive, you can also use F8. So I'm going to press F8. Transaction now entered as inclusive. And on the original document on page 10, one steel rack is going to cost 6234. 6234. Press enter. And remember the contra account that we used was office equipment. Sorry. Let's just clear that. OFF. Office equipment at cost. And that's the return of a non-stock item by a supplier. So at the bottom of page 13, we've done the one steel rack that's uneven, that return. So then you will click on print, print with contrast. And make sure yours must be R105 printer, and then you print. I'm not going to update now, but if you need to update, you will say update this journal batch. I'm going to close this screen. So we used the supplier's journal. Let's just go to the supplier's journal quickly. So we've done the entries for the supplier's journal, we've put in the correct contra accounts, we've used the correct taxes, we've given the correct descriptions, we have the correct reference numbers, we have the correct dates and the correct period. So then you will click on print, print with contrast, and then you will click on OK. Once you've got the printout in your hand, you can go and update this journal batch. Okay, I'm not going to update, so that if there's something that I need to explain or go over with you again, I still have the information. I'm going to close here. So now the only document left that we have to do is the stock document on page 11. The stock document on page 11 for Journic. So I'm going to use the supplier documents and the supplier invoice. Then press enter. Remember, you never change this number. Press enter. The first supplier is Journic. Press enter. Make sure that you go to your period and correct it. Period 1. Sorry, my period is still wrong. So make sure that you select period 1. The date is the 5th of March. Supplier invoice number GER 016. Discount 5%. And the terms is 2.5%, 30 days. Press enter, and then the first item is not on my list, so I need to go and create that item. So I'm going to close here, and I'm going to press F6. Put in the code. They say we must apply the code structure as for all the products bought from Journic and already set up. We must use the account structure for Journic. If we go to page 7, at the bottom of page 7, we can see that the codes for Journic is GE01, then GE02, GE03. So the last one that they've used was GE07. So this code will probably now be GE08. So we are going to use GE08. Press enter. Description is going to be on page 11. Paint roller refill. Mohair 225 millimeter. Okay, let's put in our capital letters as they've given it to us. Then categories is none. Is inventory goods. Discount type will be both. The unit is going to be 225 meter, 225, but it's actually millimeter, but the other end won't fit. Make sure that you do allow tax, and the tax must be 01 VAT for purchases and 01 for sales. Show quantity and unit must have a tick. It is a sales commission item. It is a physical item. We need to put in a cost price. The cost price given is 30 Rand 10. And then we need to calculate our selling price. So we can do that using Excel. In this exercise for paint, let's go and check the markup. The markup for paint is given on page 7, also in the middle. The business adds 30% profit markup. So I'm going to use Excel. So again, it's the same as the previous exam paper. Cost 100, markup 30%. So it's 130%. So we are going to use our formula, equal sign 130% divided by 100%, and we are going to multiply that by our cost price, 30 Rand 10, and I get that my selling price is going to be 39 Rand 13 cents. 39 Rand 13 cents. So 39.13, press enter, and the inclusive price will then be 45 Rand. I'm going to save my new inventory item. I'm going to close. And when I press enter now, I can go and select it from my list. Paint roller refill mower 225. Quantity is going to be 20. Tax 01 30 Rand 10, and we go on. The next one is Polycell crack filler. Quantity is 20. 32 Rand 30. Drop sheet, $50.01, and make sure 23.85. So the price on my screen is wrong. I must type in the price on the question paper, 23.85. Press enter to complete the line. When I look at the total, 2,666.26 will be the correct amount, 2,666.26. In the print document, not sure, R105 printer for you, and click OK. Okay, we will go and correct this now. It's an important message because your document won't print. I'm just going to stop and then show you how to do the correction. We have completed the document for Jernick on page 11. So now we must just go to page 13. Paragraph 1.6, returns to suppliers. There's one return to the supplier for Jernick. So remember, we are going to use the debit note now. Press enter. Remember, you never change this number. Press enter. Choose your supplier, Jernick Products. Press enter. Remember to correct your period, period 1. Okay, if you have put in the date already, but the date is wrong, you must first put in the original invoice number, because if you try and go back now, it doesn't really allow you to go and correct. Okay, let's go period 1, and then the date is going to be the 7th. Original invoice number for Journic, remember it was on page 11, GER 016. On the original document we did have 5% invoice discount, so we must also have it on the debit note. Okay, please make sure there's a mistake here. It must not be GL code, it must be item code. And then from our list we choose Polycell crack filler, and the quantity is 1. Check that the price is correct. So on page 11, check the document for Journic. Polycell crack filler was R32.30, so the price is correct. And then we need to put in our reasons for the return. The bag was broken, bag broken. So there's my reason. So you need to put in the original invoice number, the trade discount that was on the original invoice. You must also capture in the debit note, capture the item quantity, remember the tax, check the price, and the last thing is to type in the reason for the return. Then you can click on print document. My system is very slow. Okay, I'm not going to wait any longer. I'm just going to stop here. Thank you very much. So we have completed the credit invoices starting on page 10. Remember to analyze each invoice to determine if it's a stock item or non-stock item. So we are done with the credit invoices from page 10 to page 13 up to returns to suppliers. We've also completed. The next lesson will start on page 14, the stock sales.